see those truth commercials? You ever be like watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reruns or some shit and one will just come on and scare the shit out of you, right? The scariest one I ever saw was one with a lady named Debbie. For those of you that don't know who Debbie is, Debbie was the old white bitch with the cigarette hole in her throat. You remember her? To me, the scariest part was her voice, right? Because she just came on and started talking and didn't even fucking warn you, right? She was like, when I was 17. They told me that cigarettes were not addictive. How could they say that? Right? And then she took the cigarette and smoked it through her throat. Were you guys thinking the same thing I was thinking? I was like, oh my God, who is gonna pass the weed to this bitch? Like.
Welcome to the Steve and Bobby Show. My name is Steve Williams. Today we don't have Bobby once again. Bobby ain't here. He ditching me. This is like number 4 in 2 months, Bobby. We watching you, bro. Anyway, I am here today like we normally are every single Thursday. We're here to give you guys only the quality content that we love to do. And in that piece you heard, my man.
Yes, sir.
The talented stand-up comedian, New Orleans native.
Yes, sir.
Good Lord, New Orleans
Who
native.
that?
He from Louisiana. TV personality.
Yes.
My man, the man, Mr. Thomas.
How you doing, bro?
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. I'm doing good.
I'm
I'm very happy to be here. I'm like Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy.
I'm very happy to be here. Just happy to be out of the house, man. I just, got at the grocery store. Just like, oh, yes, aisle 3.
Kenny Thomas, man, what is going on, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
You know what, man? Me and you running in the studio, especially in the old studio. Me and you ran together all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, man, who that cat, man? Always, this dude funny as hell.
Right,
and then I went home when I noticed you.
Yeah.
I went home and I started turning on my commercial, the local commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, is that something you don't do? Listen to me, y'all.
There's not much. But,
KT here, Miss Thomas here. He literally on every commercial.
I'll try to, man. Try to get these dollars up, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
man. Thank
man.
You, man. Appreciate you.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So let's take a look. Here's a funny thing about the stuff that's going on, because I'm actually kind of interested there's these ideas, right? That at least in my perspective, I love comedy.
Yeah.
I'm a big comedy guy.
Absolutely.
I watch all types of comedy.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I've known about comedians, especially good comedians like yourself,
thank you.
They are, to me, are intellectually smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of us.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm telling you, got to be smart to be a comedian.
You do.
But another thing is you got to have an ear to the streets.
Yes.
You got to know what the streets are talking about.
That's the most important. Yeah.
Right. So you got to relate to your audience.
Yes. I will say, right now, I think us African American comedians have a duty to talk reckless. To speak the truth, and it sometimes can be hard to pull the funny out of every situation.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing funny about someone getting shot, right? But you can pull funny and make the audience understand where you're coming from and the humor in it as well. And I think we have a duty to talk and keep our ear to the streets. And be intelligent, be informed, and talk about what's really going on.
And that is exactly what I was leading into, because I think I follow your social media pages, of course.
Thank you.
Because, by the way, if you guys want to, Kenny Thomas's Facebook, I don't know about his other social media pages.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you got Instagram, you got all that.
All that.
And then we'll put that information on the back here so you guys can follow Kenny Thomas, because he's very, very funny. This dude knows what's going on. Mm-hmm. But if you go to his Facebook page, which I can vouch for, there is some funny stuff on that. And
man.
I want to bring it because my man KT here put something that has been bothering him now, and this seems to be an issue and a problem. It was very much a problem about a month and a half ago.
It's still a problem.
It's still a problem.
It's still a problem.
And what you titled this as a Young G's perspective.
Young G's perspective. That's an old Snoop line.
Yeah. In case y'all didn't know, if y'all lighted to the shade and you was listening to Kenny Brooks at the time or whoever, and you don't know them, Young G's perspective is a Snoop perspective. But take a listen to the issue that KT here had about a certain condiment. Take a look.
But I'm here to talk about syrup. It's a popular breakfast condiment, oftenly used on pancakes and waffles and, all sorts of good things. And, I just didn't know that so many of you cared about syrup like this. For those of you that are behind and don't know the story, General Mills and PepsiCo owns a big corporation. They own a little small company, and they sell syrup. They go by the name of Aunt Jemima.
So, three questions.
Sure.
First question: do you ever get your answer on that, man?
No. I still perturbed, perplexed. I never got my answer.
And so the second question is: you in this video allowed me to realize that Aunt Jemima is a condiment.
Yes, it is.
I never thought of syrup as a condiment, but it's a dang condiment.
It's a condiment, man. it's something that you put on your food to make it better.
Yes.
Ketchup, mustard, syrup. It's a condiment. You know what I'm saying? I had no clue that white people felt that strongly about syrup.
Right.
And, Aunt Jemima, rebranded and didn't want, her, Aunt Jemima, on their syrup anymore. And white people went for syrup.
You know what's funny about that? What's really funny about that is, you mentioned it in the video. We can't put the whole video.
Yeah.
But if y'all want to, please go to his Facebook page, Kenny Thomas, on Facebook. I think you can find it under Kenny Thomas Comedian. I think that's how I found it.
Kenny Thomas Comedian. And
I think that's what
Kenny KT Thomas is the handle for it.
And you can watch the whole 6-minute video. It's great. You got to watch the whole thing. But he did ask. So the third one is the fact that what you're saying in that, even though it's comedy, and this is what we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Right.
When you have your ear to the streets, and you're listening to the street, that's actually a as funny as it was to me. It was funny as heck. But that's an actual real, and you go in depth in this. Actually, it's a 6-minute video.
Yeah.
And you go in depth about the fact that you didn't realize people would just be tripping over this.
I had no clue. No clue.
And then the fact that you brought up another really good point in this. The other good point was you said you had, what was the good point? You brought up the fact that so many people, I can't think of exactly how. Listen, y'all got to go watch this video because you'll understand what I'm talking about on this. But the fact that that Aunt Jemima, how do you pronounce that?
Aunt Jemima.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Aunt.
Yeah.
Jemima.
So I've been saying, I'm from California, I'm from Adwater. So I used to say Jemima. Okay, now I realized when I watched that video that I've been saying it wrong.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fact here is that a lot of people already know that, the history, especially black folks.
Yeah.
They know this junk about, and then you brought up the fact, that's what it was. You brought up the fact that these white folks that you call them, I forgot exactly how you worded it, but these folks come in and they're like, oh, you need to learn the history.
Oh, fake woke.
Yeah, fake woke. That's what you call it.
Yeah. They're fake. The reason I say fake woke is because being woke in America now is just being knowledgeable and understanding, what's real and what's fake.
Yeah.
And, they would get online and talk about, her family da 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 da, don't take away the money from her family. I'm like, that's a fake character. They didn't know that Aunt Jemima is not rich. It's from, okay, let me, short history.
Tell 'em.
Short history.
Preach it.
Aunt Jemima is a character from the minstrel show.
Okay.
The minstrel show, if you want to do your research, is an old theater show, and Aunt Jemima was one of the characters that they'd use on the minstrel show, which is extremely racist. He was a ex-slave, now a cook in the white family's home, right? So boom, that's what she is. So General Mills and PepsiCo, well, General Mills at the time, took this character and used it as their kind of like mascot, right, to sell some syrup. And obviously it worked, and it's been racist, from its roots. But, black people kind of keep it pushing.
Yeah.
We're not going to fight every fight.
Right.
We're not super
Especially
Negro.
a syrup condiment,
Like,
man.
who cares? Like, I'm much more offended by systemic racism than fucking syrup.
Right.
And so I'm not going to fight every fight. But that's what the video was about. And I white people were going crazy.
Yeah, they went nuts on this one.
They were crazy. I was
They went nuts on this one.
based off of misinformation as usual. But yeah, the fake woke and just the misknowledge.
The misknowledge.
Misknowledge, yeah. To be nice, I'll say that.
So, one thing I like about a lot of your social posts, you listening.
Yeah.
You listening to folks.
Oh, yeah.
And you have an opinion, which is what I like. A lot of people kind of scare and shy away from opinion, especially when you're in the public's eye, shall I say.
Sure.
And there's one that you wrote. Let's put up that image, KP. Let's put that image up real quick. You wrote here on this post, which is really, really good. And this is something recent. We're in August 20, what are we in? August 27th. So this is recent, pretty recent. You said, I'm not sad, I'm angry. I don't feel scared, I feel enraged. I don't want your pity, I want change. I'm tired and I'm disappointed in my country. But most important, I'm not hopeless. I'm inspired and I'm ready. Go on, bring it in, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bring that in, bro.
Yeah. I spoke. I rarely do this online, but I kind of spoke from the heart and wasn't geared for humor. I just wanted to let all my followers know where my head was at. And how I felt about the killing of Eric Blake. Which was everybody has their own opinion on it. But I felt like I said in the post, that's how I felt. So
that's good, man. That's powerful stuff right there. And I think it's I think it brings up to my original point of how a lot of comedians are you have to have that ability to look at things in different perspectives, and you gotta, but then again, you're still a person.
Yeah.
Okay. Kenny Thomas is a person.
Absolutely.
Okay. You're from New Orleans.
Right.
You live in Fresno, California.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? You have a life, you have all these things, and people got to realize that when you see stuff, especially this systemic racism that we're seeing, this administration, which is out of absolutely control. Out of control.
Not normal.
Not normal. It's very abnormal.
Very abnormal.
To have an administration like this. And the fact, and I put this in last week's edition of our show, is the fact that it's not so much that the Trump administration is doing what they're doing, okay? Administrations are bad all the time. There's all kinds of bad, there's bad politicians, we get that part. The part of this that's troubling is the fact that there are so many people that are willing to not only back this administration, but back this president and a lot of the stuff that he's doing.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
No. Good. Go ahead. I want your thought on it.
Sure. That's disheartening, right? That's sad that they still endorse, support this president. But that's America. That has always been America. And what Trump is doing is speaking to a select people that are willing to, sound the bullhorn and speak their minds now. He's given them empowerment to speak their mind where they were probably scared or didn't feel right speaking how they felt on, you know, white supremacy, this nationalism, you know, and it's so disheartening. But that, like I said, I always go back to that's America. We've shown spikes where we're good and really bad times were really bad. So I think he's just giving them a voice, and they're speaking loud right now at a time where young people feel hopeless, feel like their voice doesn't matter, like they shouldn't vote. And I think it's a very, very critical time this election cycle where America speaks. So I hope the best for it.
Do you feel from, because I'm pretty sure you see a lot more variables of people than I do on a daily basis, do you feel we can get out of this?
What is this? It's very important that we, because go on a tangent. Okay, so I a lot of my brothers and sisters use the word they.
Okay.
They do this. They did this. I think we have to speak
to who
we're talking about
specifically.
You know what I mean? Specifically, and you know, intentionally. So it's very important that we do that, and it depends on what you say. Can we get out of this? If this is a presidency, a 45, yeah, we can get out of it. Just go vote. Just go vote. And things aren't going to get better overnight, but that is the first step. If this means systemic racism, police brutality, you know, white supremacy,
because that's the real fight.
That's the real fight, right? That is the real fight.
That's a good point.
And yes, I do feel, I don't feel hopeless. I like I said, I feel inspired and I'm ready. And I think it's up to us to speak to power, you know, truth to power. And I think we can get out of it. Is it going to be a fight? Is it going to be hard as shit? Absolutely.
So do we get out of it in our lifetime?
I think things are moving faster than ever in human history. If this stuff happened, when this stuff happened 40, 50, 60 years ago, you might miss it. You know, we live in an information age now where even if you don't want to hear it, you're going to hear about it. So I think, yes, that's the optimistic side of me talking, but it's going to be hard as shit.
And the fact that you brought up a good point. You got to vote. And voting is probably one of the most essential things you can do. You know, one of the things I hear a lot of people say is the fact that, you know what, both parties are the same. I'm frustrated and I'm just not going to vote.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that say that.
Those are people who sleep.
Those are
Wake up.
Wake up. So you need to do what the Tea Party did when they were upset and did not like President Obama.
Right.
We knew what their intentions were.
Absolutely.
The Tea Party was racist, okay? And what that particular movement said, hey, I don't like this Republican Party because they're kind. They put Richard Steele, remember? He was the RNC head. They didn't like that.
Yeah.
And they saw their country changing.
Right.
And what did they do? They voted for their local mayor, their local congressional leader, their school boards. They went for the lower ends of the voting spectrum and worked their way up to the presidency. Right. And they got it within one cycle.
And like I said, we live in an information age. Things are quick. They can change very fastly, but we need support, you know.
And we need help on that. So, you know, and the reason why I say this, because there's a real good skit. I'm a big fan of George Carlin.
Oh, yeah.
He's one of my top 5 comedians of
Brilliant.
all time. I put Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy. There's
Chappelle.
It's Richard Pryor. Not Richard Pryor. It's Eddie Murphy and Chappelle. You can put him either way.
Right.
To me, Richard Pryor's the GOAT.
Right.
And he's the man. Okay.
Yeah.
But George Carlin is up there.
Right. Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And I'm poli-sci guy. I'm a political science major guy. So George Carlin was very, very, very good at articulating the remember George Carlin was during the Reagan era.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize Reagan was one of the most corrupt administrations. In fact, it only rivals Donald Trump by a little. I think Donald Trump just barely beat.
Donald Trump is just more outright about his stuff.
Right.
He'll just say it.
Yeah.
And I'd rather that than how Reagan.
There's a good Ronald Reagan's chief strategist, Lee Atwater. If you guys don't know who Lee Atwater is, I know there's a lot of people that don't know this stuff. I'm just a political science guy.
Right.
Junkie.
It's all good.
Lee Atwater was Ronald Reagan's political strategist.
Yes.
If you don't know what I'm talking about of how racist Ronald Reagan was, go look at Lee Atwater and the conversation that he would have with Ronald Reagan,
exactly.
About not being able to say the N-word, about forced bus, all of this stuff. It's really good. Donald Trump is basically, like you said, an outspoken person of a Lee Atwater.
Yeah.
So the reason why I brought up George Carlin, because there's a very good skit that George Carlin put. I think it was back in the 80s. I don't recall exactly when this skit came. Maybe it was early 90s. But it was right after the Ronald Reagan era. I want you to watch this skit, and we'll come back and talk about it.
One thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Yeah! Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out. If you have selfish, ignorant citizens, you're going to get selfish, ignorant leaders. And term limits ain't going to do you any good. You're just going to wind up with a brand new bunch of selfish, ignorant Americans. So maybe it's not the politicians who suck. Maybe something else sucks around here, like the public.
It's crazy because this is back in the early 80s or late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
George Carlin, man.
He's good, man. He was great.
Magnificent.
He was great.
That's why I say comedians are very good at that. And you do that too. You do it in a like the
very subtle way. Very
subtle. But
very subtle way.
But that's what comedians do. Comedians allow us to look at ourselves in the mirror and say, well, I hate that politician. I don't like that politician, blah, 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 right? And then you look in the mirror and go,
well, yeah. I think that's the sign of a good comedian where you can be a mirror to America.
Yep.
And will be a mirror to the audience and show them through humor and talk about them and let them know what they look like and what we sound like. And then do it with humor. And I think that's a sign of a good comedian.
On stage, is your humor, do you do any political humor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you do?
I have to.
Yeah.
I have to.
Are you careful in how you do that?
I very strategic. Very strategic in every word.
Especially here where we're at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I remember when I was writing my Black Lives Matter joke.
Yeah.
And I said, I hate hearing that all lives matter because that's absolutely false.
Right.
And which it is, right? So, but then I compared it to, I said after that, I go, anyone who thinks that all lives matter have clearly never had a roach or a rodent in their house before. Because
that's a lie.
When they're infringing on my civil liberties of having a clean crib, them niggas gotta die. You know what I'm saying? Like I kill roaches like George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin.
Oh, do you tell that one?
I just follow him.
Do you say that?
Oh yeah! Come on, you got to. Like I said earlier, it's our responsibility to talk reckless.
Yes.
And speak real.
Yes.
And that's it's very, very careful, very strategic of my words that I use, and my voice inflections. But yeah, absolutely.
Here we're actually in Fresno, California, which by contrast is a very, very deep red part of Cal. People don't know that. They think A lot of times when you talk to people outside of the state,
Right.
oh, you from California, you're in the liberal base.
Yeah, yeah.
No, bruh.
Nah, bruh.
There's some red spots here.
There's some red,
and we in one of them.
Some red pockets.
And we in one of those
Yeah,
pockets.
man. Yeah. It's a deep red area that we live in.
Yeah.
But
That's why I asked you, when you go up there and you tell
Yeah.
these comedians, especially a Black Lives Matter joke. A Black Lives Matter joke here in Fresno.
doesn't go well all the time. I'm not gonna lie. That's definitely failed before. I just, you gotta commit. You gotta commit, and you gotta say it and mean it, and then you usually get the laugh. And if I don't get the laugh up front, because the audience, what they do is that they're very reserved.
Yeah.
When they hear it, like, oh, I don't want to, but then I bring it back and tell them what I'm talking about. And make the comparison, and they get it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't feel that Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
If you feel that all lives matter, and you say all lives matter, you still understand the humor, and you understand my perspective.
And I think that's the key to comedy. It's one thing about I've listened to tons of different types of comedians, even conservative comedians. Right. I've listened to all of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the great thing about a good comedian, like you said.
Right.
It makes you look at yourself and go, oh yeah, I do some, do some shit like that.
They don't always have to agree with every word I'm saying.
Yeah.
They have to understand the humor and understand
of
my
where you're coming from.
And understand where I'm coming from. And as a young Black male in America, I hope Black Lives Matter
right.
to you. But if they don't, I have a joke for you. You know
what's insane too is all these the all lives matter is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. And then
of course they don't.
The blue right, and then the blue lives matter.
Yeah.
Because blue lives ain't a human, is it?
It's not a human.
Okay, I was just making sure.
Yeah, you're confirmed.
And unless it's Avatar, I'm pretty sure they got blue blood. I know that.
Yeah. But it's how powerful the movement and the statement is. Like, you're going to have to feel some type of way to, blue lives matter. All lives matter. Brown lives. Sure. We're not saying they don't matter.
Yeah.
But when I say Black Lives Matter, I mean a specific thing.
Yeah.
And if you disagree with that, you have to, answer to your creator and all that good stuff.
The great thing about BLM, and another great thing about what you were talking about earlier, you were talking about our information society and how fast our stuff goes through social media. I mean, you got TikTok. I mean, you can literally do a TikTok video in the morning and have 2 million views in the evening.
Yep.
That's how fast information is moving.
Fast information moves.
The BLM movement, to me, if you want my opinion, it had a rough start.
Oh yeah.
Very rough. During the Trayvon Martin, it was rough because Americans are hard-headed.
Yeah.
And they did not want to hear it.
Yeah.
But if you think of Kaepernick, and you think of, this all started with the incident in Florida with Zimmerman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you had that issue. Okay, and I remember when Zimmerman was in trial in court, and there's certain segments of society that don't understand this. So my wife is African American, she's Black, I'm half Black, right? So I sat my kids down. I knew this guy was gonna get convicted.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I went and got popcorn. I say, look, this is what you cannot do, and you're gonna end up like this cat.
Right.
And when that guy walked out that courtroom, I'm telling you, man, it put a tear in my eye. And when my son looked at me back, this was in, I think 2014.
Yeah, 14 or.
And he told me, he said, "Dad, you told me I didn't. What can I say to my? You know what I mean?"
Yeah. So what it does to Black people is, there's a sense of hopelessness when you could do everything right. He's arrested, he get put on trial, and there's no conviction. It sometimes can give you a sense of, hopelessness.
Yeah.
I hate to keep using that word, but
it's true.
It's true.
It's the most accurate word to use because
Yeah.
that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, it takes all the wind out of your sail.
Yep.
And you just think, what's next? What can we do? But this just lets me know that the fight,
needs to rage on.
Yeah. Okay. So this is 400 years of systemic racism
Yeah.
through 250 years of
Doesn't
slavery,
change overnight.
segregation,
Yeah.
and then so there was the law of the land,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to take more than 50 years to unravel it, and it's going to take a collective effort from Black people and a lot of white people and not a lot of non-Black people for them to get it, basically.
And I think even, and this is one thing that I think that I think in the beginning, what happened was, and what you saw was that there were a lot of Black folks that were just fed up.
Yeah.
And when the Black Lives Matter movement started, it was probably predominantly African American, right? And you had some pro athlete. I mean, if you think the amount of courage it took for Kaepernick to do what he did, and he did it alone. The cat did it alone. And by the way, Kaepernick is from Turlock, right down the road from where we're at right here.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he went to school. So I related to Kaepernick at that level. And by the way, for Kaepernick, for you guys that don't know that, Kaepernick was fighting his junk in high school.
Right.
He was in a predominantly white school in Turlock.
100%.
So he was fighting this mess. So don't think that he just started this. He was a conscious brother back then.
Absolutely.
Okay, and then he was raised in a white family. So there was a lot of things that he was struggling with even going up. He was fortunate enough to make it into the pro league.
Right.
He was fortunate enough to have a voice.
Yeah.
And he was fortunate enough, or he was brave enough to do what he did. Because I'm telling you, this Kaepernick situation is what fueled it at the low points of the Black Lives Matter movement.
Absolutely.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
It was when it wasn't popular.
Yes.
And
He was still fighting
He
the
took a
fight.
stand. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying? And meant it. And it started off at first like I'm just gonna sit down. I'm not gonna kneel.
Yeah.
And then someone said something about it, and he's like, he talked to, I forgot the brother's name, but he spoke to a veteran that explained to him.
Yeah, the Navy SEAL guy.
Yeah, the Navy SEAL guy. And he said, okay, I'll kneel. And from there, it just exploded. And, and NFL was it's still
Problematic.
very, very problematic and very, I'll say it, racist.
Yeah. On the ownership level.
On the ownership level.
Yeah.
So when you start to mess with my bottom line as an owner, you got to go. And he stood all the way through it. Like, this is what I believe. This is what I stand for. Even if I lose my job, I stand for this. And I think a lot more athletes are more comfortable in standing now because of Colin.
And so you guys know we're here again August 26th, right? 27th, whatever today is. Because of Kaepernick, on this day today, there's no baseball games.
Yep.
There's no basketball games.
Basketball games.
The baseball games, which is, I'm very surprised, because there's a lot of white folks that play in baseball.
Oh, yeah.
And it has a lot of white fans.
Oh, yeah. Very
They
traditional.
refused to go on the field today.
Yeah.
They said they will not be going to the field today. But all of this was because there was one athlete that was brave enough. Now, there were others that followed after Kaepernick, but Kaepernick became the face of the hatred on the ultra-right, on their side, right? He became the symbol of it, right? But the problem is Kaepernick, everything he did, the Nike deal he made, where he made $400 some odd million off that Nike deal. Do you know what he did with that money? A large portion of that money he donated to the cause. So don't think that this guy ain't doing what he's saying. He's got word of truth.
Absolutely. He speaks it and lives it, and I respect it so much because, like I said, at the time it was not popular.
Yeah.
It was not safe.
Yep. That's actually a good word.
It was not safe. But he did it anyway.
Yeah.
And I commend that brother.
So I mean, dude, I could talk all day, brother.
Oh, me too, man.
KT, man, you do. I love talking to you, man.
Yes, sir.
This is good stuff, and I want you to come back on, man.
Absolutely.
I want you to come back and visit us. I want you to, man, I'd love KT to be my darn regular on here. So we can talk and shoot the junk. We can talk all day, brother.
Yeah, man. Give me the contract.
He said sign the contracts. Sign the dotted line.
But I love what you guys do so much because it like I said, we need more political voices in the black community.
Yes.
Sometimes, and I won't say all the time, but sometimes they look at older heads and they don't respect them or they don't relate to them.
Yeah.
We need that a voice for us because we don't have many voices to go to.
Especially where we're at.
Yeah, especially where we're at, man. I can't stress that enough.
Y'all don't know. We in the lines den here, bro.
Very red here.
And we surrounded.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's fires going on in California. You know what I'm saying?
And we got fires.
And we got fires.
You got a hurricane. Did that hurricane land already?
Yes.
So
it's supposed to land
today.
tonight.
Okay, tonight. So we got a hurricane tonight.
Yeah.
We got about 40 or 50 cities rioting. Yeah. Right? We got the stuff going on with the and then you got kids, 17-year-old kids or 18, 19-year-old kids going out shooting, killing people.
Yeah.
The mama taking them to the rally or to the this is crazy, man.
It's crazy, man. And
out of control.
What I will say, it's just a very sad situation.
Yeah.
But I feel that America creates this when you don't condemn that hate speech, when you don't shut it down immediately. And I think that's what's fueling them. There is, our, president now that doesn't shut it down.
He is?
I don't like to say that term. I don't like to say that term with him.
I didn't know that's what he was.
But
I know.
Oh man, united we stand, divided we fall. But he is our president right now, and he doesn't shut that type of speech down. For anything else, he fuels it, and he knows what he's doing, and he does it on purpose. And if you are not woke, if you are asleep, that'll fly over your head, or you might have the privilege of not saying anything about it or ignoring it. But when you are black in America right now, you aren't just a comedian.
Yeah.
You have to be a black comedian. You are not just a doctor. You have to be a black doctor. So not until, like I said, hopefully in our lifetime, that kind of stuff will be unremarkable, but hopefully you can be a comedian one day. You can just be a comedian and speak on being funny. But now I have to be black and write Black Lives Matter jokes, and play, this language trapeze act I do. But you have to do it. And right now, like I said, I'm inspired and I'm ready to fight.
Is there anything you want to promote, man? Is there anything out there that's going on?
Oh, yes. Kenny KT Thomas, Facebook page. All the handles is Kenny KT Thomas. I'm in the works of producing my first television show. What? Code Black. Code Black is the name of the title. It's black comedians, black influencers all coming together, talking about black stuff and being funny, being entertaining, and that will be out soon.
And you're going to let us know
Mad
on
Talk
that, right?
TV. Yeah.
You're going to let us know about
Absolutely. I'll come back and promote it when it's
Please
done.
do.
Absolutely.
Please do, because we want you back, brother.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you for coming.
Absolutely.
And again, everybody, I appreciate y'all for listening to the Stephen Bobby Show. Bobby has vacated us today.
Where you at, Bobby?
Where you at, man?
Where you at, bud? Where you at, bro?
Anyway, I appreciate you guys. Please stay tuned. We should be doing something on our, make sure you don't go to our Facebook page. We're on the Mad Talk TV section, or you can go to the Stephen Bobby Show Facebook page on the new movie we got coming out.
Bang,
got
bang.
a new movie coming out.
Proud of you, man.
Choices, man. PTSD, about military PTSD and Marines out, and some of the struggles that Marines have, and well, we'll do some Army Cat. We'll help y'all too, Army Cats. we got you in there as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all that. I appreciate you guys for watching. I see y'all next week.
Peace and love and laughs.